Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Tuesday morning, August 18th, 2020. It's the man they call Meathead, and we've talked over the last handful of Tuesdays, and we'll get to Dave in a second here, my hero. We haven't had a lot of positive things to say. We had action yesterday. We had news yesterday. So let's bring in Dave Herro. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Work it, kid.
We have action. We have news to talk about, Dave. Finally, we have something.
What's the news?
Well, the news is that Mel Gibson and Tina Turner are showing up Friday night on Smackdown. I joke and I kid. But do you think they cleared that with, I don't know what movie house owns the rights to the movie, the Mad Max movie, but do you think they bought that, cleared that, the Thunderdome term?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it all depends on how you use it. Thunderdome. I mean, I'm sure they would have checked it. I don't think they bought it from the movie. I mean, you can call anything a Thunderdome as long as you don't make it into what the movie was.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, because there's all sorts of
but let's talk about the Thunderdome. From what I understand, Damien and Linda already got pre-approved to be in Thunderdome.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. So we'll have to watch for Damien and Linda.
There you go.
I'm not too sure if they're going to be on Friday SmackDown, Saturday NXT, or SummerSlam.
Well, they, in all the promos, they never mentioned NXT. They said SmackDown, SummerSlam, Raw. I did not hear a word about NXT's takeover.
Okay. Well,
NXT takeover could just be the Performance Center.
Yeah. And it could just be Linda for all we know. I mean, come on.
It could just be. I mean, really, who do you want to look at on TV? Are you looking at Damien or are you looking at Linda?
Oh, I'm not looking at Damien at all. I'll look at Linda. So that works.
Yeah, you and I suffer from the same affliction. We sat next to that man for many, many years. So yeah, we're not trying to look for Damien on a TV screen.
No, exactly. So,
but Thunderdome, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on cameras on drones, video board LEDs, and them leaving the Performance Center and picking up residents at the Amway Center in Orlando?
I mean, it's going to make it look better on TV being in the Amway Center because now they can work on their set. They can do better entrances. I'm sure they can even do pyro.
Probably.
They can do everything they possibly can to make it feel like
a bigger show.
Yeah. Just the normalcy of it, And you know what? The PC served its purpose. Imagine if they didn't have it, what they would have had to do. I mean, they would have struggled to find a building. I'm sure to do whatever it is. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Starting on Friday. I'm not gonna have my hopes up because
you're guarded, obviously.
The first step, or what is it? Hope is the first step to disappointment. I think it is
something like that. I try not to get disappointed.
No, that's a cousin Jackism. So
we'll have to have cousin Jack on for that.
Yes.
And we talked off here before we got on. Big thank you to cousin Jack because I wouldn't have been sitting in those seats. We were talking off air about this Raw that I happen to be watching from August 16th of '99. The second day Jericho was on. That was cousin Jack that put us all there. Cousin Jack put myself ringside. He put Dave Dolly ringside. He put you ringside. So again, thank you.
Yeah, cousin Jack, he just celebrated his 65th birthday over the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, man of mystery and average Joe, all wrapped up into one human
being. I feel like I've seen that movie, but you know what? It's one of those stop and watch movies. It really is.
Yes, it is.
But I'm excited for Performance Center. Like I said, kind of thinking about how you were talking about it. I am guarded, obviously, because we need something else. WWE has done what they've done. AEW's done what they've done, and even Impact and the other shows have done what they've done. I watched a little OVW over the weekend as well. We'll get to that in a second here. But it's time for the next step. It's time for the continuation of how we're going to live in this world we're in today.
I don't care what building you put Raw in, what building you put SmackDown, or what pay-per-view it is. If the creative sucks and the talent can't get the creative's vision over, it's not going to make a difference where you are.
True. But I mean, we need a shot in the arm. We absolutely need it. And I feel we're getting it.
Well, I hope so, because right now the shows have been a challenge to watch for the last few months. And I'm hoping that things turn the corner starting at SummerSlam.
Yep, absolutely. And we might get something, out of NXT as well. NXT hasn't really been that hard to watch. I have a hard time with Raw because it's the 3 hours. They've added in Raw Underground to kind of help fill some voids that they had with as far as on-screen product, but Raw Underground's not working for me right now. Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. I asked you last Tuesday morning, what is Raw Underground built for right now? Who is it to feature? And right now, I don't know if they have a direction yet. Last night on Raw, we had your girl Nia Jax come in and continue her issue with Shayna Baszler.
Last night's Raw Underground was the best one they've done. I forgot. I know one of the two guys was the former 24/7 champion. Riddick Moss, I think, was one of them.
Sure. Okay.
The match he had was that. It was awesome. It was good. It was believable. And I'm like, well, okay, these guys obviously have a clue what they're doing. And then even the girls, was a lot more physical, bigger bumps and everything. But
yeah,
it seems like Raw Underground is starting to fall into place, which is great for them because it looked hokey and phony. I mean, I hate watching the wrestlers now become ultimate fighters, and it reminds me of No Holds Barred. I'm just waiting for Zeus to show up and win the whole thing.
Honestly, you know what it feels like? It feels like Brawl for All. It just feels like something that was kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah. So hopefully they can make some stars out of this. I think they're going to. But once again, you can make all the stars you want in Raw Underground. How is it going to translate to being on Raw inside a wrestling ring?
Yep, absolutely. And again, you know what? You kind of hit me to it. I didn't really think too much about it, but the man working the door, he did his fist comparison to Shane's. That thing was twice the size. You know what? I do want to see him work.
He's a big beast. I mean, he has a long way to go. I know Kevin Nash was down there, a month or 2 or 3 months ago, working with all the big guys they got, because they got quite a few giants down there. I mean, you have Dominic Dijakovic, you got the guy at the door.
You were so close. I'm pretty proud of you right there, Dijakovic.
You have Karrion Kross. Yeah, you have quite a few guys at NXT, well over 6 feet tall, and that's exciting for any heavyweight division.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we had a bunch of other things happen last night too. We got resolution to who poisoned Montez Ford, and there was a little closed circuit TV. That's what CC stands for, folks. Closed circuit television. We saw your girl Zelina Vega actually doing something to something.
Dropping a little Spanish fly in his drink, huh? Yeah.
So,
I really don't believe Zelina Vega would ever do anything. She's a sweetheart of a woman. I just think it's a misunderstanding. Maybe he wanted some Alka-Seltzer. Maybe he had, maybe he had the COVID cough.
Maybe that was a 5-hour energy drink, because in that match he was on fire.
I was like, you know what? Small problem with all that. Here's my problem with issues with last night's show. Montez Ford had food poisoning, or he was roofied, or whatever it was.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last week, right?
No, it was 2 weeks.
Really?
They said it during the commentary, actually.
Oh, I thought it happened last Monday night. That's what I thought.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to say it was last Monday night, because otherwise it's everything I was going to say. But he just came back with way too much fire, much like Dominic Mysterio. I mean, he got his ass beat.
He did.
And he's swinging that kendo stick like there's no tomorrow.
And like he had no pain when he swung it.
And then Ray's hugging him afterwards, puts his arm around his waist. I'm like, whoa, that should hurt. And that didn't. So you got your two baby faces already magically healed and ready to rock and ready to fight. And now it's like, okay, well, they already got their heat back. So why do I now want to tune in Sunday if they already got their heat back on Monday?
Right.
Because you always want to see them, get their revenge. Well, now that's already happened. So I think tonight's business, by having Ray on, completely ruined and buried everything they did last week, because Dominic looks fine.
They should have had Ray on at SummerSlam.
Absolutely. Yes, and they never should have touched Rollins and Buddy Murphy.
Right.
You know, I'm like, what?
Rollins and Murphy should have been in the ring talking about what they did.
No, but they shouldn't be. Dominic and Ray shouldn't be hitting him or touching
No, what I'm
them.
saying is you don't have the Mysterios there at all. You have Rollins and Murphy in the ring talking about what they did and how, they put that part over. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I dare anyone to take 30 kendo stick shots like that and show up for work a week later.
I'm not taking 3. I'm not taking 1.
Yeah. It just, for me, that was bad business, you know, and then again, I thought Montez got sick last week, but just like, oh, come on, let these baby faces, you know, gain some sympathy. Let people want to see them make a comeback.
Build all that animosity towards the heels while the baby faces are off, you know, convalescing.
Exactly. And then strike 3 for baby faces. Shawn Michaels gets RKO'd and kicked in the head. Mm-hmm. And 30 seconds later, he's sitting up in the corner. Are you kidding?
I didn't like it at all.
I was like, ugh.
Let's talk about the center of the show, kind of the middle. Like I said, you know, I asked you at the beginning, did we have more to talk about? Did we have a little bit more? Did we have more excitement? It was kind of a cluster almost. When you had the Natalya Mickie James match, then you had Seth coming out yelling at Joe, told Byron and who's play-by-play, Todd Phillips, told him to run.
Mm-hmm.
Joe couldn't keep his headset on straight. Joe's headset was falling off his head. Then you had the Ruby and I mean, there was so much going on in the middle where matches kept getting interrupted and different things were happening. It's just felt like it was a cluster for that middle 60 minutes.
Yeah. And again, there isn't a really good conducive flow to the show.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's hurting, because it's like, why does Seth Rollins got to come out twice? You know?
Well, it comes out because there's not enough people to put on TV.
Mean, look how many segments Seth Rollins was in last night.
Yeah.
He was in quite a few of them.
Yeah. I mean, he even came out during the whole, and we're going to get to Retribution in just a second, but he even came out during the whole Titus O'Neil kind of, you know, pepping up the crowd or pepping up the boys and getting the, you know, then you had Drew McIntyre come in as supposedly the leader of the locker room, which I mean, it was the heat of a moment thing, but if Drew McIntyre is a champion, he should be the leader of the locker room. And then Titus O'Neil cut him off and says, no, wait, I got one question for you first. How's Rick? And that really had nothing to do with what you're doing. You can get to that later. Right. But yes, Seth Rollins was on way too many times. Retribution. I've been thinking this one out for a while, and I haven't been able to really verbalize how I feel about it. I don't like it. I think they're following a Nexus type of path, which
they're following the Antifa type of path.
Well, Antifa is the visual path, yes, but the Nexus path, where it's a bunch of guys that show up. I don't like it because, you know, if I was thinking this before, and I didn't really get to spit it out during the week because I didn't think of it, you know, when I had a microphone in my face, but. You know what happens when you're like watching baseball or something and a streaker hits the field? Do the announcers even talk about it?
No, they don't acknowledge it.
No. If they would have WWE.com acknowledged Retribution before they even showed up on TV for the first time.
Well, who watches the .com website? What are you doing?
My point is that's news that was on the internet. That was news that was completely out there. So I already believe it's part of the show.
It's just, I mean, they broke into the production truck. Yeah. Okay. Again, if you know these jokers are coming around, how come you don't have armed guards? Why don't you have police? Why isn't the talent on the show beating their asses? Right. And here's the thing: how do they get into the production truck, and then nothing happens with that production truck going afterwards? Mm-hmm.
If they would have never acknowledged any of it, if all those glitches just happen and it keeps on going, I buy it a little more. You know, it's part of the show because you watch wrestling, but there's a bit of uncertainty.
There's no money to be made in this angle.
No,
I mean, unless you have CM Punk,
right?
Somebody like that in charge of this Retribution, which
that would shoot Retribution back up to me caring right there.
Well, yeah, because it's a guy that like, oh shit, yeah, this makes perfect sense because, you know, he's angry.
Right. It's not going to happen. But, I mean, that would make me care right there.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that you take off a hood, it would have to be a CM Punk, John Cena level person. It's not going to be John Cena, but it would have to be CM Punk. It would have to be, I mean, I would even understand it, even though he debuted over an Impact, Heath Slater, who was disgruntled because he got let go. He's got kids. That would make sense to me. It's not going to happen, though, but that would make sense to me. Retribution right now doesn't work for me at all. But it is what it is. A couple other things happened, you know, and when I make the titles for these shows, I don't like to do the clickbait type of titles. I'm not going to put title change because I think the title changed 4 times tonight. Not going to do it.
No one cares about that title anymore either. They really don't. I mean, it's been the R-Truth Championship.
It is, yeah.
It made it entertaining because, and don't get me wrong, R-Truth is extremely entertaining, but it was more fun to watch when those two were going back and forth over it.
Yeah, me and him busting into weddings and hotel rooms. And I'll be honest, R-Truth, I never would have thought this even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. R-Truth is a first ballot Hall of Famer to me. I've said this to Matthew Thomas on the air here. R-Truth is a Hall of Fame performer, and this guy is literally entertaining. Have you watched any of the R-Truth game show?
No, I have not.
Take a minute. It's fun. I really actually enjoy it because it's truth being truth.
Mm-hmm.
So take a minute. It's absolutely fun watching him make superstars go up and down the stairs in their house while they're holding a camera, like a 2-year-old running with his cell phone and falls out of focus. It's absolutely hilarious.
Okay, I'll check that out.
All right, Dave, we got some PWR draft stuff to talk about as well. So,
boy.
this is this is positive, Dave. You have a chance this next 3 weeks, really, next 4 weeks, to be honest with you, the next 3-4 weeks, because look at what we've got coming up. We have a plethora of pay-per-view point scoring events. You've got NXT TakeOver. You've got SummerSlam. You've got WWE Payback. You've also got AEW's All Out. No, what's it called again? All Out, All In. I think it's
three of that. In three of those pay-per-views, I have the champion and the challenger of those matches.
Yeah, it's ironic. So you can't, and you know, if you think about it from my side, look at the women's stuff. I've got Asuka going for 2 belts.
You know what? I honestly believe Asuka is going to win both belts on Sunday.
That's going to be 2 title wins.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
For me. Fantastic for me. Yeah. And you know, when absolutely. she lost it on Raw, so it didn't count.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then the next pay-per-view after that, I have the tag team champions who quite possibly could lose. But it's amazing. Again, I want you to be there in April for my coronation and my parade.
Wait. The tag team champions is who? Who do you have?
I have Bayley.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a very good chance Bayley could be your albatross, because if she loses on Sunday and then loses the following week, that's a lot of points negative for her.
Yeah, but I mean, I've made a bunch off of her. And again, if Asuka wins both belts, plus I do have Drew McIntyre, who could also lose to Randy Orton.
Yeah, I think he will too. Who has Randy Orton?
Damian Nelson.
Oh, shoot. Damn. Yeah.
But then again, let's hope that the Jeff Hardy AJ Styles match for this Friday in the Thunderdome gets pushed to SummerSlam. We'll put that on there as well.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll get pushed. I'm sure they'll have a rematch at SummerSlam.
Perfect. And Jeff Hardy wins the Intercontinental belt. Oh, look at that. I have Jeff Hardy as well.
I don't think that will happen.
Probably not. AJ's doing a great job. Hey, I wanted to ask you, while I have you on the program here, how nice was it last week Friday to see a friend of ours show up in that AJ Styles segment?
You know what? To see Joseph Park show up on SmackDown was fantastic. It's funny because I received a text from Joseph Park earlier Friday, and he's like, asking if I was going to be watching SmackDown. I'm like, well, of course, I got to talk about it this week. He's like, I go, what matches should I be looking for? It's like, oh, there's going to be a lot of good stuff. And that's all that's how he left. It was very vague.
He set you up. Yeah. Which is okay.
So I'm sitting here watching it with Kal, and all of a sudden there he was. And I'm like, That for me was the absolute best thing I have seen on wrestling in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, happy to see it. Now,
Oh
Chris
my
Park,
gosh.
if we would have saw Chris Park or even, Abyss, that might not have worked out so well for you or, been as enjoyable. But Joseph Park, happy to see.
Yes. Yeah, very cool. And you know what? That's a great character for him, and it's perfect. And he can be AJ's foil.
Yes,
And,
and he's good at it too.
yeah, and it's only a matter of time. If they keep him around, he will be wrestling as Joseph Park, which is going to be money.
Right. Do you think they ever pull out Abyss?
No, I really don't.
I mean, does he want to be Abyss in WWE? I don't think so either.
You know what? Listen, everybody wants to have their last match in WWE. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and for him, if he could get one match in WWE, I think he would be very happy with that as Abyss or as Joseph Park.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Joseph Park. And again, the law firm of Park and Park has got to be real proud of him as well. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of proud and speaking of pride, I kind of segued. You set me up, honestly, but I mean, I knocked it out of the park for you. How proud were you to see young Kal Herro debut in OVW?
Yeah, Kal made his OVW debut on Friday night on the YTA network, and now you can catch it on the OVW YouTube channel. It was awesome. I mean, just to watch how comfortable he felt in the ring, even though he was in there with the big bastard Jay Bradley.
The boomstick got him.
Yeah, the boomstick got him in the end. Not terrible for his first TV match. I was super proud. He had a great showing. He looked good. He had great punches. He had good footwork, and it's only a matter of time before he makes that trip back down to OVW again. And
hey, real quick, you heard the commentary, obviously too. A little Freudian slip in there. I think Dave Herro. Kal Herro.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on, let's admit it. I'm a little more over than he is still right now.
No, that was fantastic. It was great to see. I mean, again, having known you for the 20 plus years that I've known you, I haven't watched Kal grow up. I mean, it's awesome. So, Kal, I want you to just keep going, keep doing it. You're going to end up getting a win on Jay Bradley at some point. It wasn't last week, but it'll happen.
Well, but to be fair, I mean, him and Al Snow beat Jay Bradley and Robert Stone at Blizzard Brawl a couple years
ago. I mean, I guess, but I'm talking about that TV, because if you ask Damien if it was off TV, it didn't really, count. So
that match was on paper for House of Hardcore.
Yeah, it was. It was on Twitch. You're right. Never mind.
So, yeah.
All right, Dave. Well, hey, it's been a good Tuesday morning. I've enjoyed this conversation. We've got more coming up this week. Again, we're going to talk to tomorrow morning. We got Matthew Thomas, and then Thursday morning, Damien. Hopefully, he's out of the swamp because of all those crickets. Were pretty loud. And then Friday morning, Matthew Thomas again, and we're going to talk about Thunderdome happening Friday night. Big show also Thursday night with Damian Nelson, David Herro, and Shane Helms. I've been practicing this, Dave. I think it's the Super Show, something like that.
Hey, if you didn't see last week's show, you got to go back and watch it. It may have been one of the funniest shows we have done in a very long time. So,
all right,
yeah,
well, folks, you heard it.
It was Damien, like, he got caught up laughing a few times to the point where he had to take himself out of the show. and for me, that's always a win. Whenever you can make Damien pop and that Damien laugh, it's always a win. So,
yep,
yes.
Absolutely. So that's why you got to like and subscribe to the program, to Pro Wrestling Report at PWR360 on the Twitter and on the Facebook. Folks, thanks for stopping by. So for Dave, I'm the man they call Meathead. So long, everyone.